Hello. So, alone gives you everything they couldn't. Being alone, if you can't enjoy being alone and just yourself when you're alone, you will always end up relying on other people for happiness. And that is just not good, okay? And that's the whole point about this conversation today. It's about learning the importance of being alone and not seeing alone as this thing that's scary or like sad and depressing and it creates anxiety and everything. You're just stuck in your own bubble. No, being alone is very attractive. It's not about being lonely, it's just about enjoying your own company and not relying on other people for happiness or that dopamine effect. You can trust yourself, you can rely on yourself to create that dopamine effect because you have such an amazing personality that nobody else has. So until you can actually enjoy your own personality, that's when other people around you will enjoy your company. So that's what we're going to talk more about today, because you need to start learning how to detox from that toxic dependency, because being alone teaches you how to stop leaning on people for energy or mood boosters or just simply self-worth. Like, I was in a situation where I was consistently, this is at uni by the way, I was at uni and I needed mood boosters and I needed that dopamine effect, and I think that all was also linking back to self-worth and just like self-love, and I just had to be around people to bring up my personality, to actually have fun, to allow the day to go by fast. And I wasn't even revising, which was so bad, but I realized that I was actually depending on these people, and that's toxic. Not only because I'm depending on them to just so I can have a mood booster and have that dopamine effect, but it's also because I was attracting the wrong people in my circle. Like, my circle was just a non-existent circle full of fake people that weren't my people for me, and at the same time they were also kind of essentially using me because they knew that I would be on it for whatever. Like, I would always be on it for that club or this club or whatever club, or to drink or go to whatever party. Like, I was always that person that was down to do it, which is silly of me because I was just giving out my energy to anyone, and I was just becoming that friend that's that entertaining friend, but not actual friends where there's actually like a bond going on. No, we bonded over alcohol, which I don't think is and I'm just so glad that I don't drink anymore, because it really, like, drinking just kind of like shadows your entire face, and like you don't even realize, like, it shadows you, it creates this, it brings this giant cloud over your mind, and you don't even realize who your real friends are, and like you don't even realize that, like, oh my gosh, I'm actually putting my energy into this friendship that's not even a friendship, like it's literally non-existent. So it is a detox. Like, being alone is genuinely a detox because it stops you from being dependent on these people that just don't deserve your company at all. And being alone also sets your own standards. Oh my gosh, when I was like, just after my breakup, right, I was enjoying my own company, not only because of that, but it's also because I had all that freedom, and I learned from my past mistakes, and I realized that, oh my gosh, I want this, that, third, and I create my whole new standard list, which I'm going to talk about later on. But not only that, I actually learned what I value, who I want in my life, what I want for a career, because I had that space to think, you know. And when you're alone, you are in your own thoughts, but it's how you choose to essentially use your alone time. If you use your alone time in a way that will serve you and serve you to the point where it's going to get you to places that will get you to your best version, that's good. So you have to essentially anchor it in a good way where you can now be able to set your own standards, your own values, understand your desires without that constant noise in the background. And also, like, it gives you time to think about the truths as well, and you start to also realize who your real friends are, the connections you have, and versus like who your real friends are versus who are just noise entertainment people that I had so much in my life, like at uni growing up, which was just not it. Like it was no, like you can't like just waste your time essentially being around the wrong people, because the more you allow that, the further you are pushing yourself away from that goal, which is your best version of yourself. So it really allows you to have that detox. It's essentially like a body detox when you have like a green juice or a ginger shot, whatever. But I am going to talk more about like my standards, and I wrote those standards when I was essentially just having a lot of alone time and spending a lot of time with myself. And you're gonna realize like, damn, like I'm gonna go through how I changed my standards for toxic people, but now the standards I have, I'm not changing it for anyone, because that's how much I realized about self-worth and self-respect. And at the time I lost all of that. Freedom comes with no witnesses. So when you're alone, you get to explore hobbies, things that you actually genuinely enjoy, like ideas, and experiment with like your entire existence without needing any approval or validation from anybody. When things ended between my ex and I literally decided to do modeling and acting, and it was actually a very fun experience. I even dyed my hair blonde, like literally fully blonde, which really messed up my entire hair, because I literally dyed it with bleach like within 3 days, from my black hair to blonde, like actual blonde. But what I'm trying to say is that when I was alone, I was able to just do things that I never ever thought I would ever do before. And that's also because like when you're also in a relationship, like especially a toxic relationship, you tend to kind of like sacrifice a lot. And a lot of it for women is that we're just such caring people, and we devote so much of our time into our partners like hobbies and stuff, that we essentially just kind of like surpass ours and put ours on the side, and we'll come back to it later. But we say that like every single time. So when you are alone, you have that freedom to essentially do whatever you want to do, and it's actually so fun. And I feel like people just oversee that. I feel like people just think that, oh, I'm alone, I really need to date, like I want to date. No, you don't actually need to. You being alone right now is genuinely like the best thing you could ever do, but it's also just down to how you choose to do it. Like if you're gonna just run around and go on dating apps and rebound yourself after breaking up, that's not gonna serve you anything. That's just gonna be a consistent reminder of your past. That's not gonna allow you to grow at all. That's just you trying to heal something that is just not gonna heal, because, you know, girl, like you're just reminding yourself and running away and turning to short-term gratification that's not gonna serve you anything, but it's creating this short pleasure that you're going to receive. No, you need to think about the long-term plan, because the long-term plan is getting to your best version of yourself. And going on jumping on dating apps or finding a rebound or sleeping with whoever is just not gonna get you there. It really isn't. So really think about, like, explore your hobbies. Like if there's an instrument that you want to start learning how to play, if there's a language you want to pick up, actually invest that money, invest that time, start modeling, do that, create a portfolio. Because I did that. I went crazy. I literally bought a backdrop and put it up in my living room, which is very tiny, and just took some photos for my portfolio. And then I joined agencies online. I did some few jobs here and there, but I realized that's not even for me. But I was only able to realize that and take that off the list, that it's not for me for career wise, because I actually stepped out of my comfort zone to actually just tap into that, to experience that. And then at least I started now and not later on, or regretted it years later, because I just chose not to do it, because I was just relying on other people, or I was just dependent on other people, or I was just afraid. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't think people understand like the value of being alone, because it will genuinely give you everything that they can't. Alone teaches you to love your routines. When no one else is around, you will start to be obsessed with what actually makes you feel good. Emphasis on feel, okay? Like your morning routines, skincare routines, going to the gym, like even cooking a meal you're actually genuinely going to enjoy, because you're not going to be copying anybody else's life. You will be running your own life and actually enjoying it, creating routines that actually make you happy and make you feel fulfilled. And I think that's just something that a lot of us just essentially like overlook, because I don't know how to explain it, but when you're in a relationship, let's just stick to, like, when I'm saying when you're in a relationship, let's say, like, okay, toxic relationship. I'm not talking about a healthy relationship, because a healthy relationship is not gonna allow that to happen. There will be boundaries that will be healthy boundaries, but also you'd be so happy to the point where you can just trust your partner to do his thing and you do your own thing, and you guys share whatever you guys are doing, and it wouldn't just be one-sided and there will be double standards and manipulation, but actually real growth that will help both of you get to being the best versions of yourself. But what I'm trying to say is that you will actually start to learn how to feel good about your routines. Like, your skincare routines would be fun, and you'd probably be doing your skincare routines simply because you don't feel as anxious anymore. So, but when you're alone, you can just do all of that. You have like all that freedom, and you have that freedom to essentially create routines that work for you. If you are not a morning babe, no one's forcing you to be a morning babe, okay? No one's forcing you to wake up at 5 a.m. Waking up at 5 a.m. versus waking up at 10 p.m. doesn't make you any different. Yes, yes, you're awake before a lot of people around the world, being productive, whatever, and it gives you extra time. But it's not about quantity, it's about quality of the hours. So you could do the same thing and you could still be productive, babe. You just have to create routines that actually you enjoy and thrive off from. You get what I mean? And lastly, no one else is going to judge the pace you are going on. So when you are alone, it is just you and your goals and getting to your best version of yourself, okay? And no one else is going to judge the pace you're on. No one's going to judge you what age you're on and what age you started. It's just you, okay? And it's you choosing how you want to do things and doing it at your own speed. Anyways, I gotta go. I love you so much, and I'll see you later. Bye.